So I got a tattoo in college and I decided it was my purity ring. I wore a purity ring in high school. I grew up a Christian, and I decided to get love tattooed on my finger. Not marriage, love. So I was going to wait until I fell in love. And I did. I waited for sex until I fell in love. I fell in love very quickly with the man who's now my husband. And I decided I was ready, and he was ready, and we were gonna get married, so it was all fine, and what's the point in waiting? And we decided to have sex before we got married. And he didn't have a problem with it, and I didn't either. But something always felt a little bit off. I mean, it felt great, and we were excited about this new step, but something was not right. The Holy Spirit was kind of pressing on us, and we weren't sure why. Truly, we weren't sure. So instead of ignoring it forever, after a while we decided to honestly pray. I told him that he didn't love me if he wanted to stop, and he said, well, why don't we ask God what he thinks? So we earnestly asked, and we said, God, if you want us to stop, you have to give us a very big sign and let us know for sure it is you. And God did not disappoint. So one day we were sitting in church, we're up on the balcony, and our pastor, who we love, was speaking about, I don't even know what he was talking about. And he stopped in the middle of his sermon, and he looked up to the balcony and he said, I'm sorry, there's a couple here who thinks it's okay to have sex just because they're in love and God's okay with it. He's not okay with it, and you need to wait until marriage. And just kept on preaching about the other thing. And I went ghost white. Stephen stopped moving and breathing completely. And at the end of his sermon, we just didn't even speak. We stood up, we walked down the stairs, we went to the altar holding hands, we got on our knees, and we took a vow of purity right then and there. He proposed the next month, so we were pure for 11 months before our wedding. And I have to tell you, it was the most incredible 11 months of seeing God's, number one, plan for sex and marriage, and also to see that he is able to wash you white as snow. Purity is able to be gained after it's been lost. I'm a living testimony of that. But God is able to make it so right. And he made me feel like I was so loved, not just by my husband or to-be husband, but by him as well. God is able and willing to make you pure again, for the first time or for the 50th time. You just have to lean into him and know that there's no shame in that. There's no shame in knowing that God has a specific plan for marriage and that sex is so worth it. And you don't have to take my word for it, but we're on baby number 2 in a year and a half, and I gotta tell you, it's worth the wait, and it is perfectly designed.